All righty, ladies and gentlemen, we are live on Facebook and live on Instagram. If you are watching us, I'm going to ask that you would please share this broadcast with your friends, your family, your sister, your cousin, your uncle, your neighbor, your niece, your nephew, your godchildren, whomever. And join us for a fun time of storybook reading, fun, laughter, and games. All right, we're sharing. I'm also going to ask that you follow us on our Facebook page and our YouTube page, Young Gifted and Black Storytime.
No, get down.
Are you reading, Mikey?
Please.
Are you reading, Mikey?
Shut.
Okay, so let's get started. I don't know what happened. I think Taylor's phone died again, but that's okay. All right, so our icebreaker for today is, what is your favorite kind of chips? Go ahead, Gio. What is your favorite kind of chips?
Takis.
Oh, the crowd fave, Takis. You like spicy chips? Your tummy can handle all that? Oh, my goodness.
It's not that spicy. The blue ones are the best.
The blue ones are the best? Okay. I'm going to take your word on it. I've never had Takis, but all of my students love Takis. Okay, Carson, what's your favorite chip?
I like the blue Takis, just like Dio says.
Oh, we got 2 votes for blue Takis.
I love Takis.
You love Takis?
I do like Takis.
Oh, okay. Okay. Mikey, what are your favorite chips?
20.
Huh?
20.
20? Okay.
Actually, let me tell you his favorite chips.
Okay, Carson.
His favorite kind of chips is kind of like veggie chips.
Oh.
Veggie chips. At first, what's 20?
Okay, veggie chips.
It's 20.
Okay. Let me think. My favorite chips are... Okay, so I have 2 favorite chips. I love blue Doritos, and I absolutely love that they're very hard to find. They're called honey butter chips. Not honey barbecue, honey butter. Honey butter chips, and they are absolutely delicious, and I absolutely love them, but they are very hard to find. You got to go to like the hood to find them. Those are my favorite chips. Those of you that are watching, why don't you go ahead and comment and tell us what your favorite chips are?
Miss Mariah.
Yes, Carson.
I have a question.
What's your question?
Is the honey butter chips like there's honey and you just spread butter on them and they're chips? Is that like kind of like how it?
No, they're chips, and the flavor of the chips is honey butter. I don't know how the manufacturers have made the chips. However, I do know that they taste absolutely delicious.
Miss Ryan,
right.
Can I tell you a joke?
Okay, go ahead, Carson. And after you tell the joke, Taylor's going to tell us her favorite chips.
Okay, I'm gonna get my joke book. Drill,
Oh, you gotta get the joke book.
drill,
Okay, Taylor, tell us
drill,
what your favorite chips are.
My favorite
drill,
chips are
drill.
um
Help
it's
me.
salt and vinegar.
Salt and vinegar. Okay. Oh, we have a Lay's honey barbecue fan too. Okay, I love honey barbecue, the Lay's, and I love salt and vinegar chips. But I like salt and vinegar chips. You got to put them on a sandwich. I like to put them in my sandwich and eat them with the
Yeah,
sandwich.
I put them on my burger
You
too.
put
They taste really good.
Shit!
And my phone keeps like dying, so that's why I keep going on.
No problem.
I got my joke book.
You got your joke book, Carson. All right, give us a
Ready,
joke.
ready to laugh. I got
We're
my
ready to
notebook.
laugh.
Miss Raya, I got my notebook.
You got your notebook too?
What did the bee say to the rose?
I don't know. What did he say?
Hi, bud. Miss Raya, my book just fell down. Miss Raya, my book just
Hmm?
fell down.
Oh, your book fell down? Okay, wait. Carson, tell us the joke again.
What did the bee say to the rose? I just
What did the bee say to the rose?
Yes.
What did he say?
Hi, bud.
Oh, I get it. Hi, bud.
I have another joke.
Okay,
What do
give us
you
one
call
more.
I don't get it.
What do you call a man who gets walked all over?
I don't know. What do you call him? What do you call him?
Matt.
Oh, I get it.
Because he got walked over, so he's a man.
Yes, I get it. Okay, that's clever. That was clever.
I got a awesome, good, clean jokes for kids. My mommy bought me this.
Your mommy bought you that?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So if you are joining us, we are continuing with our book Midnight at the Barclay Hotel. Um oh look, Carson, somebody got your joke. Like
I
what?
did, Carson Bud Rose.
Bud, like the rosebud for your
Miss
joke.
Roy got my joke. Hey, that's my Pokemon book. Where do you find my Pokemon book?
Okay, so we are
I got
reading
my notebook.
Midnight at the Barclay
I
Hotel,
got
and
my
it is
notebook.
by Fleur Fleur Bradley. I don't know if I pronounced it correctly. So tonight our kids are gonna read. So we're gonna start off with Gio. Gio is gonna read, and then Carson is gonna read, and then I'm gonna close it out for the evening. And then we're gonna do some announcements because we have some really exciting things to share about our kids this year. They've done amazing things. So first we're gonna read. Geo is up first. Let me make you big, Geo, so everybody can see you. Oh, look at Geo. Okay. Whenever you are ready, Geo, we are on chapter 10 if you're following along with us, which is starting on page 58. So if you see the big 10 and you see page 58, that is where we are. Geo, you got to flip your camera, sweetie. There you go. All right. You have to unmute yourself. There we go. And go ahead.
Some people love to be on a team, like a battle of the books team. For example, working together, high fiving each other, and all of that. Others like to work by themselves in a little corner, preferably with a pencil and a notebook, in quiet. Penny and JJ were both more of a
loner varieties, but Emma was clearly the type. Her grin was so big that you could see her bright braces and the blue elastic bands on the sides. Her plain shirt, huge, hung loose over a faded t-shirt with a band picture on it. The black-eyed peas JJ almost asked her about it, but then he remembered that the that he was at the Barclay to make friends. He was on a mission to go ghost hunt. And here I was thinking this weekend was going to be boring, said Emma. There aren't any other kids here, JJ asked. Nope. Emma shook her head. We're just waiting on some lady named Felina Fabella something. The guests are all adults. She made a face and crossed her eyes. You should see why I thought this weekend would be boring. A tall man wearing a cowboy hat lingered on the porch. He looked like he didn't want to go inside, and JJ saw Chelsea, the town librarian. He did his best to avoid looking at her. She probably reminded him of those overdue book club books that were somewhere under his bed. But JJ didn't have to worry. Miss Chelsea was too busy rushing inside, her blonde hair whipping behind her. She was carrying a large round bag. Well, we should go inside, Emma said. There's a cocktail party in half an hour. I heard there's going to be a big announcement. She leaned in close to JJ and Penny. Emma smelled like cookies or cake. Maybe no. It was frosting. She whispered, knowing Mr. Barclay. I think I have an idea what the announcement is. But Penny was curious. What? Penny was curious. Emma made a motion across her lips like she was zipping them. It's a secret. I've sworn on an oath. Well, my uncle did his chef here. He's the chef here. Emma was a strangler too. No invitation, but here for the fun anyway. You can tell me, JJ said as they walked across the threshold into the Barclay Hotel. It smelled like old books and wood polish. Technically, I'm not invited, so the announcement isn't for me. Emma thought about it. Then she shook her head. Nope. And she walked backward with a silly grin on her face until she turned a corner and just vanished down the hall. This girl was odd. Penny looked toward the reception desk, and her grandpa was arguing with Mr. Clark, probably asking for that spa service, and JJ's mom looked like she was about to ready to join in. Check out these masks, JJ called. from the other side of the den. Penny walked over to JJ past the big arch windows that gave you view, bird eyes view of the sky and the mountains and deep valley below. It was a little terrifying to Penny, who'd ever never been to the mountains, but she was going to be brave. She reminded herself. Penny focused her attention on the wall that JJ had pointed to. There were about a dozen shadow boxes, the kind of frames where you put stuff on display. Each one had a mask in it. Some were ornamental
Ornamental.
ornamental with embellishments like
Mhm.
feathers and gems.
Do you
Other
know what ornamental is?
no,
Have you ever heard of the word ornament?
yes.
What's an ornament?
It's like a decoration that goes on trees, like
Exactly.
Christmas trees.
Yep. So when they say each one had a mask in it, some were ornamental. Ornaments are meant to be decorations, right, for the Christmas tree. So the masks were like ornaments. They were decorations and they had feathers and gems on it. Okay, you can continue. Others were
Like feathers and germs.
mhm,
Other were plain black or white. Are they there? Theater? Theater?
mhm,
Matt? JJ asked. Penny nodded. I think so. Mr. Barclay loves theater. How do you know that? JJ asked. He peered into one of the shadow boxes. Penny struggled. I read up on this place before we came, like I do on my research. You know, we should look at that book that has the history of the Barclay Hotel. I think I saw a map in there. JJ pulled the book from his backpack that sat they sat on the big chairs by the enormous stone fireplace.
mhm.
Penny took the book and fumbled through the pages. She swiftly found the map listed in the index. They opened the book. JJ was impressed. He might just want Penny on his ghost hunting team after all. Even if she was a skeptic, look, if was a skeptic, look, it's all right here. JJ leaned closer. The hotel was enormous. That was obvious from the map. There was a cupcake shoppy spelled old fashioned like that, a carousel, a bowling alley, a pool. There was even a maze outside. Wow, he muttered. Yeah, yay, fun, right? Penny said, but JJ's mind was on ghost hunting. That's a lot of ground to cover with my basic ghost hunting kit. He really wished that he had those big suitcases with tripods and power cable reels now. Penny said, you'll have to show me all that stuff later. I'm going to disprove that ghosts exist. I need to join you. She flipped the pages of the book again and saw something here. A few chapters back. JJ tried to keep up, but all those pictures with tiny letters made him dizzy. Thankfully, didn't make him feel bad about nothing, not liking to breathe. Found it, the ghost of the Barclay Hotel. See, there's a whole chapter. Penny looked, took a minute to read the introduction. JJ looked at the pictures. They were black and white and pretty fuzzy. There was
Mhm.
one of a really tall man in overalls,
Mhm.
all that Mr. Roberts. That's Mr. Roberts, JJ said. It said under the photo. Penny nodded. It says that the ghosts are bound to specific spaces. JJ nodded too. They can only go where they spent most of their time when they were alive. It's one of the rules of the supernatural world. What other rules are there? Penny glanced at the reception desk. Her grandpa is now arguing even louder, something to do with a, a facial.
Mhm.
The ghosts can't talk to each other is another one. Is another one said? Is another
Mhm.
one? JJ said. And kids are more likely to see them. That's handy for us, I guess, Penny said. She smiled. If I believed in ghosts. Ignoring her jab, what else does the book say? Penny flipped a page. It says here that at the Barclay Hotel midnight, it is. She paused. What? JJ asked. Penny looked up. Midnight is the ghostly hour.
Very good, Gio. That was very good. All right, Carson, are you ready to read, or you want me to read 11 and you read 12? I can't hear you, sweetheart. You're muted.
I read. Wait, let me get onto the page. I just done. I just done. I am done. I am done. I am done to show you.
We're on page 65, Carson.
Okay.
Okay.
I am this part my fingers. That's right. Okay, 65.
Yes, page 65. Go ahead, Carson.
Midnight at the Barclay Hotel. Penny went on to read from the book. It's when all spirits are drawn out and the grandfather clock spells oi to joy. Just then the clock tuned, making both Penny and JJ jump. They looked at the grandfather's clock. JJ said, "That one? I guess we'll find out at midnight," Penny said. Spooky, she flipped the pages. There's also a whole section about Mr. Barclay's family. Says here he had a daughter named Constance. Why don't we go check out the hotel instead of reading about it? JJ said. It's because how she keeps with her business. They said slightly defense. She's the CEO of PB and JJ. Now he had to give the usual speech that he had always gave when people asked. When he was a toddler, JJ was very picky either. His mom realized he liked peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, so she became an expert at baking them. But because she was worried JJ would get bored, she she added she started adding
Mama,
fun
do
stuff to the
touch
sandwiches, like marshmallow fried potatoes, and even chips. JJ loved it, and so did everyone who ever came over. His mom decided to start a restaurant. It was so super successful. She added another restaurant, then another, and the rest is PB and JJ history. JJ's JJ said, finishing the story with a famous company line from the commercials. Penny said, "There's a PB and JJ in my town. I love the PB and banana sandwich." JJ liked Penny a little better already. "That is one of my favorites too. Maybe my mom can make them for us if the kitchen has the venue." Before Penny could agree with this brilliant dish, two women walked into the dining room. The librarian, Miss Chelsea, and another young lady in a floral dress, wearing high heels that almost made her trip. That was actress Fiona Fleming. The cowboy the cowboy followed close behind and sat at the table in the back, eyeing the pile of little sandwiches. "Excuse me, everyone." Mr. Clark waited a moment. "If I can have your attention for this evening's announcement." He let the silence echo around the room. Mr. Clark clearly liked a bit of drama. "I'm pleased to welcome our esteemed guests to the Barclay Hotel for the weekend." He glanced at JJ and Penny, plus a stranger or two, it seemed. Then he smiled. He didn't mind being called a strangler. Strange, strangler. It made the whole weekend seem more adventurous somehow. Penny frowned. She didn't like how Mr. Clark made her feel like an annoying little kid. Mr. Clark continued with his boring speech. "Most of our you invited guests have had business with Mr. Barclay, which is why each of you is here." The room got so quiet when he paused, you could hear the guest pulses quicken. Mr. Clark was milking the dramatic moment for all it was worth. These dealings were not always pleasant or to your liking. Mr. Clark made a point of looking at every person in the room, which is why exactly a week ago, one of you in this room killed Mr. Barclay. And this weekend we'll find out who the murderer is.
Oh, wow. Things just got intense, huh?
Are you scared?
So if you're reading along with us, this is the picture
Baba,
of
touch up.
Mr. Clark, who's in the
Hey,
middle, talking to the guest.
busters. Touch up, busters.
So this just got really intense, guys. I don't know. But we know that Mr. Barclay is no longer with us. But now we're finding out that not only is he no longer with us, but how did he die? He was what?
He was killed.
He was killed. He was murdered. And so now Mr. Clark is saying one of these special guests that they invited could be the person that killed Mr. Barclay. So now we move on to part 2
Let's write
of our book, which is titled Motive. Yes, Mikey.
Just touch up.
Oh, okay.
Busters.
Okay, so I'm going to read chapter 12 just to get our feet wet with part 2. And then we are going to close out because it is 7:36. Okay? All right. Oh, is that your hand, Carson?
To read chapter 12.
Oh, you want to read chapter 12? Is that what you're asking?
Yes.
Okay. I tell you what. You can read the first 2 pages of chapter 12. Then Geo can read the next 2 pages of chapter 12, so page 77 and 78. And then I'll read the last 2 pages, page 79 and 80. Okay?
Deal.
Deal? All right, go ahead. Start us off, Carson.
A killer right here in this room. JJ caught his mom turning the color of a tomato, and Jackie wasn't one of the first to flutter easily. She was usually the one telling other people to troubleshoot stuff. While Penny muttered as a grin spread across her face. We are in a real life murder mystery. Mr. Clark paced around the room with his hands clasped behind his back contained. A little known fact about Mr. Barclay is that before he built the family fortune and real estate holdings, he invented a little board game called Catch a Criminal. He paused the dramatic effect.
What page are we on?
We're on page 76. Carson is reading 76, and you're going to read 77, Geo. Okay?
77 and 78.
Yes. Geo, you're going to read 77 and 78.
But before he could continue, JJ blurted out, "Oh, like Clue." "No, not at all like Clue," Mr. Clark snapped. Clearly this was a touchy subject. The game never became the hit he expected, but the original now lives in the library. Is anyone interested in playing? Mr. Clark looked as if he expected at least one of the guests to jump at the chance to play this game, but no one seemed very interested. And how could you blame them? They had just been told that there they were there they were suspects in a murder. The premise hit a little too close to the home at the moment. Fiona cleared her throat and raised her hand like she was in school. "Excuse me, Mrs. Fleming, you have a question?" Mr. Clark even sounded like a teacher, all calm and patient. Fiona paused and glanced around the room to make sure everyone was paying attention to her. Are we supposed to solve this mystery? Why aren't the police involved?
Very good, Carson. Okay, Geo, you ready? The top of page 77. You got it? You got to unmute yourself. Uh-oh. We lost Geo. Okay. While we're waiting for him to come back, I will read page 77. "That's what I want to know," Buck Jones added. "Please give me a chance to explain Mr. Barclay's intentions for this game," Mr. Clark said, slightly irritated. This conversation was getting away from him. The police did a preliminary investigation, and Mr. Barclays. Oh, there goes Gio. I see you. You're back. Okay,
Okay,
page
so I said
77.
up at 77.
Yes, page 77.
That's what I want to know, Buck Jones added. Please give me a chance to explain Mr. Barclay's intentions for this game. Mr. Clark said, slightly interrupted. This conversation was getting away from him. The police did the preliminary
Preliminary.
preliminary
Hmm.
investigation, and Mr. Barclay's physician
Physician,
attended
which is
applications
his doctor.
attended as well. Both concluded that Mr. Barclay's death was caused by a heart attack, but I know it was really death by poison.
Hmm.
Um, there was a dramatic gasp coming from the actress, and there, and there, she added, starting the obvious,
Stating.
stating the obvious. He said there was poison. He was poisoned? The detective countered, I request that the police revisit this matter. So the medical examiner did an
Autopsy.
autopsy. Mr.
Hmm.
Clark said, Mr. Clark said his face was sad. It was indeed poison that killed Mr. Barclay. That his murderer, all right. That that's that's murder, all right. Penny whispered, so only JJ could hear. Crime scene investigation have already been at the hotel. Detectives will be coming on Monday to gather evidence and question witnesses, said Mr. Clark.
Hmm.
However, Mr. Barclay was sure that the four suspects and one detective could solve the murder this weekend. Miss Chelsea asked, how did Mr. Barclay even set all this up? I mean, he is dead. Mr. Clark said, Mr. Barclay that he knew that he had enemies and feared one of you might kill him. With his love for games, he decided to orchestrate one of the last games from the grave. If you
Hmm.
will, if you will, upon his murder, he arranged for the investigation,
The invitations.
for the invitation to go out and form me
Hmm.
from from for me his right hand man to ensure the game would move forward. The room had gone earl, early silent now. Murder was serious business. Mr.
Hmm.
added added Mr. Clark added Mr. Clark added wait what?
Yep, you're right. Of course.
Of course, Mr. Barclay hoped he was wrong. No one wants to be murdered. But he had
Hmm.
some serious
Quarrels.
quarrels with four of you invited guests. invited guests. JJ had hoped to talk to Mr. Barclay about the mission huntings. Now that his that the man was dead, the whole weekend felt like it had a big fat dark cloud over it. Well, I'm no killer, Miss Chelsea said. How do I clear my name?
Very good, Gio. Okay, I'm gonna finish it up. That's what all suspects say, Miss Fleming said, rolling her eyes with a snooty look on her face. Mr. Clark ignored the actress and turned his attention back to Miss Chelsea. Play the game, he said, with a mischievous expression. There will be 5 players. Detective Frank Walker, Miss Fiona Fleming, Mr. Buck Jones, Miss Chelsea Griffin, and Mrs. Jackie Jacobson. Next, Mr. Clark pointed to a table in the back where leather-bound notebooks and pens were spread out. 5 of each, one for each of the invited guests. To clear your name, each of you must investigate the murder of Mr. Barclay. By the end of this weekend, I want to know who is the real killer. All the guests stared at one another, a little dumbstruck. No one said a word. Mr. Clark said, "Of course, one of you will not want the criminal to be caught, because one of them is the murderer," Penny whispered to JJ. That was clear to everyone. Mr. Clark might as well have had ultrasonic hearing and shot Penny some dagger eyes from across the room for stealing his thunder. He cleared his throat again. Ladies and gentlemen, go catch a criminal. And that is where we will end for this evening, which leaves us at starting at chapter 13 next week on Thursday. What do you guys think so far?
I can't believe he got murdered. And
I
also, I
know.
am doing 3 things at the same exact time. I am on the book club. I am taking out my hair, and taking out my braids, and I'm doing homework.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Multitasking. Carson, Gio, what do you guys think of the book so far?
It's
It is really good.
it's
It's,
that's really dark.
it's
Like
really dark.
I do not want that to happen to me. I do
Right.
not want that to happen.
Well, who do you guys think is the killer? Do you guys have an idea yet?
I know, I
Wait, wait,
know.
wait, 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 hold up.
I think it's Fiona Flemington.
You think it's
Wait, hold
Fiona
up.
Fleming?
You know the man that was making the announcement
Mm-hmm.
that
Mr.
about the.
Clark?
Yeah, I think he did it.
You think it's Mr. Clark,
I
Taylor?
feel like he's trying to accuse different people.
Ooh, that's
You
a
I,
know,
good one.
you know that thing that
I
goes like, if you smelt it, you dealt it.
Uh-huh.
That's kind of what I'm thinking with Mister.
That's what you're thinking.
He
Okay.
smelt it, and
So
he
he
did.
dealt it. Okay.
I think
He
Mr.
smelled
the
Wait,
dragon.
Carson. Gio's trying to talk. Hold on. Go ahead, Gio.
I think Mr. Barclay did it to himself.
You think Mr. Barclay did it to himself? Do you think he's really dead or do you think he's alive and he's just hiding?
I feel like he's really dead, but I think he's just hiding.
You
I
think
think
he's just
Mr.
hiding?
Clark is just trying to cover for him.
Mm.
But he might have killed himself to become a
Oh.
ghost. And in the back of the book, on the back of the book, it does show a girl as a ghost.
Mm-hmm.
And if you go back to the picture of all of the people, it does look like like one of those girls that are in the front of the that are in the in the picture.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like one of them are the ghosts.
Oh.
You see
That's
the
a
cow,
very good observation.
and you see the cowboy with the stick in his mouth.
Uh-huh.
He's also in the back, looking out the window at the ghost.
Very good. That is a really good observation. So he probably did it. He could have did it, or maybe he saw it.
I feel like he's
Oh,
the one that did it
you think he's the
because
one that did it?
he is the only one that has the picture. And if you open the book all the way up like this, if you open the book all the way up like this, it'll show
Mm-hmm.
the ghost is right here, and then he's up,
Mm-hmm. And he's
and
up there.
Bill next. And I feel like there's gonna be another book to finish the whole building.
Oh, this is good, Gio. This is this is really good. Now I'm excited to read the rest to find out what happens to see if you're right. Because something tells me you might be right, Gio. Okay, I don't know where everyone else went, but a few announcements. So we will be doing a summer reading contest. I will be putting out the information for it this week on our Facebook page. So please, please, please look out for it. And even if your child is not a participant on our live, they are more than welcome to participate in our summer reading challenge that we have going out this year. If your child would like to be a part of our book club, please feel free to DM me, message me, text me to be added to our email list to get notifications on when we go live and to get the link to join our book club. Also, big announcement, one of our kids, Miss Taylor, let me see, can I share my screen? Here it is. Okay. So, one of our kids, Miss Taylor, has been accepted into the National Achievers Society 2023, and we are so excited and happy for her. Congratulations to you, Miss Taylor, on a job well done, and you absolutely deserve this nomination. I am so proud of you. So please, please, please give a round of applause and a shout out to our very own Miss Taylor for her academic excellence this year. We're super proud of her. Congratulations to you, Taylor. And if your child has done anything great this year, got good grades, whatever it is that you would like for us to announce, please feel free to message me and to let me know also. And with nothing else to say, I'm going to say we will see you next week, Thursday. Join us next week, Thursday at 7 p.m. on YouTube or Facebook. Be sure to like, share, follow, subscribe. And with that being said, good night. Tell everyone good night, Gio.
Good night.
Good night.